Welcome to A Guide to Every Deck in Modern. Today we're looking at Bogles. Pronounced correctly as Bogles or incorrectly as Bogles by weirdos who insist GIFs are GIFs, is an aggro deck that wins by loading auras onto hexproof creatures. The deck is looking to play an early Glade Cover Scout or Slippery Boggle, then load it up with auras, turning it into a giant monster that's immune to removal. Core Spirit Dancer, while not hexproof, draws cards and becomes even larger than Scout or Boggle. It's to Bogles as Pure Steel Paladin is to Hammer Time. Some versions may experiment with other creatures such as Light Paws or play additional, less efficient hexproof creatures like Silhana Ledgewalker. Hyena and Spider Umbra protect the hexproof creatures from sweepers. Generally, the most important auras are Ethereal Armor and Daybreak Coronet. Coronet's combination of Vigilance and Lifelink make damage-based aggro decks unable to race Bogles. Sideboarding and how to beat it. Unfortunately, Bogles suffers from the wrong half of the deck problem that many decks such as Infect do. It needs to draw the correct mix of creatures and auras. Every creature after the first one is usually a dead card, and the deck has few if any ways to recoup or filter its resources. Alternatively, not drawing any creatures is an even bigger problem. The deck plays a single fetchable Dryad Arbor as a way to find a creature if it needs to. The deck also lacks interaction for the opponent, playing Mana Tithe and Path to Exile only in small amounts or not at all, and must rely on its sideboard hate pieces or cross its fingers it can kill them quickly. However, Bogles is also a bit slow compared to other aggro decks, usually unable to win before turn 4. Forced sacrifice effects are one of the few things that get around hexproof. As such, Liliana the Veil can be a nightmare for Bogles. In fact, Liliana and Thoughtseize effects are so good against the deck that it needs to sideboard 4 Leyline of Sanctity just to deal with them. Urza's Saga is now omnipresent in Modern, and decks that play it also run Shadow Spear, which can remove hexproof. Another nightmare card is Cauldron Complete, since none of the creatures can beat it in combat. The only way around it is to give your creature evasion and then race Cauldron with lifelink. Generally, none of the cards in the deck are integral to it except for Daybreak Coronet. You also can't board out too many creatures since you always need one, and I would never cut the hexproof ones. The sideboard is very much tuned to be either hate pieces or protection. Bogles is good against damage-based aggro decks such as Burn and Prowess, as well as slower decks that rely on removal. It's weak to any deck running Liliana the Veil, Cauldron Complete, and pretty much every combo deck. On the plus side, Bogles is very newbie-friendly, having few decisions to make and relatively cheap compared to other modern decks. Tips and tricks. Daybreak Coronet only enchants creatures that are already enchanted. If your creature only has one other enchantment on it and your opponent destroys it, Coronet will fall off. Ethereal Armor and all that glitters count every enchantment you control, not just ones attached to the same creature. Rancor returns to your hand if the creature it's attached to dies somehow. However, if the creature is killed in response to casting Rancor, it won't return. If you sideboard in Rest in Peace, be aware it will cancel out the return from graveyard abilities of Rancor and Griff's Boon. I hope you've enjoyed this look at Bogles. I want to thank my fellow players in the Magic community for whom sharing their experiences helps make these guides possible. You can find additional resources, such as an up-to-date deck list, in the description. If you think I left out anything important or got something wrong, please leave your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned to see what deck we look at next time.